So what we say, we can't do anything about this. We've been trying to do this for years and years. Every good person thinks about this stuff. Every good school tries stuff, and still we fail in these areas. So perhaps some of the answers might be in some counterintuitive notions. So some of the counter-intuition may be around, for instance, the computer, the laptop, the personal computer, etc., and the learning provision which is couriered through it to the young person's mind, that perhaps this will be one of the opportunities to free the teachers from taking excessive responsibility for the actual content of learning and the delivery of learning, and in fact quite counterintuitively will provide opportunities for the young person to experience life and to experience learning because of the tightness of the delivery of the technology, because of the one-on-one personal relationship with the learning, because of the ability to be able to select learning nuances, because of the ability to be able to go back on the technology, because of the ability to be able to replay the technology, because of the ability to be able to tap into well-structured curriculum where you can enter into the discussion, enter into the concept, renew the concept, go back on the concept at your own leisure, in your own time. So of the 60,000 minutes you spend as a student in a school setting per year, instead of spending maybe 45,000 to 50 minutes of that formal time with a teacher delivery mode or versions of a teacher delivery mode, so constructed in learning environments like cooperative groups or any structured arrangement for students. Perhaps the freedom from that might be that for the 60,000 minutes, instead of spending 45 on that, we may in fact free up 30,000 minutes for students through more personalised learning programs, so that with the student taking control of depth, breadth, repetitions, still with the responsibility to get through, to understand the concept, to master the concept, to be confident with the concept, to be able to get to the next concept, but certainly not reliant on the structures of a classroom, the structures of a school, and the stupidity of some of the things we do in schools. We've still got schools talking about reporting to parents and a primary partnership with parents, and we've still got these ridiculous speed dating reporting nights where students in secondary schools go along with their parents so that we get parent involvement, and they go along and spend 1.5 minutes with each teacher as they rotate around a group half the time, where the teacher may not even know the student. And we talk about how that's parent involvement. It's rubbish. It's denigrating. It separates the parents from the learning event, as compared to some of these places engaged in self-directed learning. And again, I repeat, not self-directed as in choosing what all the time, but choosing how, who takes responsibility for it, the student or the teacher, and how do we engage parents in that. If the parents can engage continuously with, for instance, in schools that are trialling out teacher advisors or personal learning coaches, or a person who will stay intimately involved with your learning journey and your selections about what you're going to do across the learning areas, and when you're going to be assessed for it, and how you go when you are assessed, and how you go when you are assessed and you don't go well, and what do you do about that, and what do you do when you've already mastered some area and the school has constructed it so you have to go through that again 7 times because you're in a class of 25. If we could get rid of that, perhaps then the focus might be on the student and each individual student's learning journey, and then we may be able to adjust the arrangements of the schools to nourish the learning of each person on the through journey, and not pretend that we have chunks or groups of people going through at approximately the same rate because they're approximately the same age, because they're approximately the same gender or not. So this notion of self-directed or a new way of constructing the learning environment is a critical issue. The way I like to think about it as an endpoint is that we need to abolish the anonymous student. We need to enter into a covenant that there is no place, there is no reason in this sophisticated world of ours where a student should go through 13 years, 13 by 60,000 minutes of instructional time, go through semi-numerate, semi-literate, that's one thing. But more importantly, with a lack of belief in themselves, with a lack of love of themselves. We talk about why Johnny can't read. Johnny can't breathe. Johnny can't love. Johnny can't accept affection. Johnny can't empathise with others. Johnny can't empathise with himself. And if we can get rid of structures which compulsorily have victims, and I know it sounds dramatic to say that some of our school structures, some of our organisational structures do this. I know they don't do it on purpose. But the omission doesn't make it any less important. It doesn't make it any less dramatic. The fact that there are victims of this means that we're called as sophisticated human beings to do something about it. There are places in the world where schools are not racked with student management problems, where year level coordinators don't spend their time on disciplining students, where year 9 boys do engage with the culture of the school, do stay married to the culture of the school, do stay interested, do stay involved in expressing themselves in the school community without being embarrassed. There are places that do this, and none of the places that I've seen, been involved with, none of them emphasise that the tighter the structure, the better the results. The one system fits all doesn't work. We know it doesn't. Intuitively, you know it doesn't. What you do with a one system fits all is you then constrict the successful learners to that and get rid of the rest. They either fail, drop out, go away, or don't come in the first place. And it's not good enough.